Online gamings. There are so many online gaming companies which are carrying on online gaming activities with multiple e-gaming apps like that. How to regulate this online gaming? The central government proposing to establish more than one self-regulatory organization being set up for certifying and managing the online gaming companies may put in place strict rules on legal responsibilities of the self-regulatory bodies. It may, however, put in place strict rules and regulations regarding the legal responsibilities of self-regulating organizations, SROs, the do's and don'ts, along with other norms for who can form an SRO. All these rules will be framed by the central government to establish self-regulatory organizations, that SROs, to regulate online e-gaming companies. There will be appropriate mechanism in place for who can form an SRO, what will be their roles and responsibilities, and what legal backing they have for certifying games. It means the SROs can certify for approval of games, online games, to be allowed to be played on the social media platforms. So what will be their roles and responsibilities of SROs, and what is the legal background of SRO in certifying the online games? That is also important aspect to be considered by the government while framing the rules and regulations. We certainly not let fly-by-night operators to form SROs and become certifying agencies. There should be some credibility of organization to establish an SRO and become certifying agencies. The SROs will have to be credible and accountable to the government and the public at large. Since online gaming involves many people, accessible to many people, even small people also, and there is a possibility of affecting the functioning, affecting the financial conditions of the people who are playing online games. The SROs will have to be credible and accountable not only to the government but also to the public at large. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology released the draft gaming rules for public consultation. The draft for online gaming rules and regulations is on the website of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology for public consultation. Under the proposed rules, the government floated the idea of an industry-regulated SRO which would be responsible for certifying all the games that can be played in India. The government proposed to establish a single industry-regulated SRO which would be responsible for certifying, allowing the games to be played on social media platforms. But the IT Ministry, Information Technology Ministry, also proposed that games not certified by an SRO would not be allowed to operate in the country. It means any game which is not approved by the SRO will not be allowed to operate in India. However, said gaming companies and intermediaries would not be permitted to dominate the narrative at SROs. Industry bodies and gaming intermediaries have also proposed that if a game is denied certification by one SRO, no other SRO would do so, to ensure that there is a common code of conduct across the industry. So because of multiple SROs, there is a possibility that one SRO may reject the game, and other SRO may be the entrepreneur, the company may approach other SRO to get approval, but that will not be permitted. Once one SRO is rejected the application, the other SRO will have to do the same thing. This to ensure that there is a common code of conduct across the country and industry of online games. That certainly is one possibility. We do not want forum shopping of certification by gaming companies, because there are many smaller and bigger players in the market. Since there is an involvement of many small and big firms, big people involved, and companies also, small companies, big companies, large companies, many companies are involved in operating online gaming companies. So the certification, that certainly one responsibility, that will not allow a forum shopping of certification by gaming companies. The final rules are likely to be out within a short time. It may contain provisions specifying that between gaming companies and intermediaries, and the SROs will have to be challenged in a court of law. While disputes between gamers and gaming companies or intermediaries can be raised before a grievance appellate committee, there is a proposal to establish a grievance appellate committee to resolve the dispute between the gamers and gaming companies or intermediaries. Also, the gaming companies can approach the court of law when their games are not accepted or permitted to be played in India by the SROs or the regulators. All this is with regarding the online gaming companies, because India has become a hub for many information technology based games, not only games but also innovation, creativity, and many other social media platforms available for promoting the products, not only the goods and services but also the such gaming apps. So all these gaming apps has to be regulated to prevent the misuse or cheating of the Indian players. So the government proposed to establish SROs, and also some SROs to allow the gaming companies to place their games available for Indian players. But one more proposal is that said gaming companies and intermediaries would not be permitted to dominate the narrative as SROs. Industry bodies and gaming intermediaries have also proposed that if a game is denied certification by one SRO, no other SRO would allow the game to be allowed by another SRO, to ensure that this is a common code of conduct across the industry. Under the proposed rules, the government has floated the idea of an industry regulated which would be responsible for certifying all the games that can be played in India. There are two possibilities. One possibility is establishment of industry regulated SRO, or multiple SROs which will look after the certification of e-gaming companies, games promoted by e-gaming companies. So there is then I think there will be centralized SRO established by the centralized SRO, industry regulated SRO, which will be responsible for certifying all the games that can be played in India. And also local SROs are many responsible organizations can be allowed to set up self-regulated organizations for regulating the online games promoted by multiple e-gaming companies.